we're here for this hands-on AI masterclass where by the end of this time, which will be the next 90 minutes, you're going to see a significant shift in how you are able to manage your workflow. Hitesh is here to help you with get hands-on with DeepSeek and help you understand how DeepSeek stands versus the other AI GPTs out there. And Hitesh will help you to go through that much more. But before that, we'll give you a little bit of an introduction on upGrad KnowledgeHut. upGrad KnowledgeHut is a 14-year-old company now. We've been in the business for long, in in the trenches with helping professionals really up their skills games, right? We have trained more than 450,000 professionals all over the world with certifications, tech, skilling, all of that. Been of help with digital transformations at companies, serviced 4,500 companies and still going, and this is all across the world. Let's go to the next slide. A little bit on Hitesh. We've had Hitesh lead masterclasses here with us, and also he's helped us put together Gen AI programs at upGrad KnowledgeHut, something that is doing really, really well. We're seeing a lot of professionals really benefit from this, and we're really happy to have Hitesh join us once again. Here's a little bit about Hitesh. Again, what you see here is just like the tip of the iceberg, and Hitesh will take us through a little bit more about his experience himself. But as you can see here, he has a very rich experience that he brings on board, having trained over 200,000 participants in his over his career journey with firms like Google and Microsoft and various hundreds of corporates that you can see. So, with that, before I hand it over to Hitesh, just a few housekeeping things. We will have the masterclass certificate, which each of you who is here will be eligible for. You will receive it on your email in due course. It'll take a couple of days. I think by early next week, you should have it with you. This is a recorded session, and team, just check on the recording once. And this will be also put up on our YouTube channel, so you'll have access to that. And of course, this is going to be a hands-on, focused masterclass. So be ready with good internet, with your notes, notepads, all of that, and you're sure to take away something. At least double xing um, your productivity by the end of this. So with that, let me hand it over to Hitesh.
Oh, thank you so much, Christabel. And hi, everybody. A very, very warm welcome. I hope all of you are doing pretty well. First of all, give me a quick yes on chat box in case you're able to hear me loud and clear. Fantastic. I can see a lot of yeses coming in. That's great. Okay, so today we're going to deep dive into this world of AI. And I'm going to put a test on DeepSeek versus ChatGPT OpenAI. And I'll not tell you which one is the best. I'll leave the choice to all of you to tell me which one is the best, right? But today we're going to see something significant. And this was the first time, in fact, I'm taking a detailed deep dive session on DeepSeek. Though I've been using DeepSeek quite a lot in my projects recently. And I've been helping organizations, helping companies understand the space really, really well. Okay. And my aim over here is to actually help you to demystify whether is it really worth the hype or not, right? At first place. And whatever people are saying, is it true or not? Okay. Okay, so how many guys over here who have been attending the session currently, you have attended one of the sessions before? Give me a quick me on chat box in case you've attended one of the sessions before this, in any of the master classes or basically any of the other programs currently. If you've attended before, give me a quick me on chat box. Okay, not really. All right. And how many guys over here are hearing me for the very first time? Give me a quick eye on chat box in case you're hearing me for the very first time currently, right? This is the first time you're meeting on the space right now. Okay. All right, a lot of you are meeting for the first time. Fantastic. No problem. So, a very quick introduction about me, who I am and what do I do. So I'm Hitesh Motwani. I've been a business person. Like basically, I was earlier working with companies and institutions, and I worked with brands like Crompton Greaves, Ratan Tata, Ogilvy. I launched brands like Twitter, Bandhan in India. I've also helped a lot of global companies understand the space of AI and actually be helping them, consulting them, and assisting them in terms of how do you actually use AI at a execution level, right? In the last 2.5 years, I must have trained close to 250 companies, um, you know, um, in generative AI space of like companies like HP, Flipkart, or Siemens, L&T, Reliance, Adani, you name the company, I must have basically helped them understand the space right now. And today my aim is to help you demystify actually the space pretty well, right? So in case you want to know more about me, you can continue on LinkedIn. If Hitesh Motwani is my name, you'll probably find me quickly over there. Okay, let's actually begin. So a couple of ground rules in the session. Number one, the session is going to be completely hands-on, which means that you will all have to take your laptops and be with me over here. Number two, take notes because you might remember something now but forget something later. So please take notes. And number three, ask me questions. After every point interval, I'm going to basically open up the flow for question answers. So please ask me questions, right? And yeah, maybe we'll see how do we take it along. Okay. So you see, moment this DeepSeek was launched, right? It has overtaken the large language model space couple of weeks ago, right? I mean, what I think a month back, I think DeepSeek became big rage. But DeepSeek is not new, by the way. DeepSeek have been there for almost 1.5 years. Earlier, it was known as a DeepSeek coding agent. It was majorly for coding. But today it's extended itself and it has more deep research, thinking, logical reasoning. It has got multiple things over here. Okay. So before I kind of go ahead, what I want to understand is that how many of you guys over here have used DeepSeek before this? And how has your experience been? In case you've used DeepSeek, and how has your experience been? If you can simply just, tell me on chat box, that will be great. So Kimi is a different app, Ken. It's not a part of DeepSeek family, to be very honest. Kimi is something very different. It's mostly also like, having a voice agent with it as well. It's also pretty cool. I've used Kimi. Okay. That's by a company called Moonshot, actually. DeepSeek is by a company called DeepSeek, right? I mean, they basically do hedge fund trading. Basically, this was their part-time project. This was like their side hustle, I would say. All right. Okay. So very quickly, have you guys first of all used DeepSeek or not? If you've used, give me a quick yes. In case you haven't used, give me a quick no on chat box. So I know that okay, if you guys have ever used DeepSeek or not. All right. Okay. Fantastic. I see a lot of yeses coming in. Great. So if you've used DeepSeek, what have you used DeepSeek for? Also quickly put a chat box for me. Like what have you used DeepSeek for? For content, for some complex issues, some coding. What have you used DeepSeek for? Just put in a chat box for me, please. I think debugging, research guidance, and planning, coding, research. Okay, amazing. Good, pretty good. A lot of, it's available to use DeepSeek considering security issues associated with it. Okay, so actually, my opinion is a little different. I think security aspects are totally upon you, right? It's an app from China, obviously, so there's a little bit of hesitation. But good thing about DeepSeek is you can use DeepSeek in a local PC also, if you really want to do that, right? And that too without internet. So in case of security, use DeepSeek in a local PC. I'll show you how to do that as well as we move along. Okay. Okay. Now let's understand that why such a hype. So okay, what do you think? Before I tell the answers to you, what do you think? Why is there such a big hype about DeepSeek in the market? Why are people raving about DeepSeek at first place? It's sort of very affordable. Okay, good. It's free. Yes. I'll talk about my opinion on security risk, Christian, at the end. Okay. I really feel that people, yes, I mean, it is a little vulnerable. I mean, it is just a new kid on the block. I don't think they have patched the security pretty well because they also had left some people's API and some content on the open internet. To be very honest, that's little negligible. That's little negligence from their side. That's why people are a bit concerned about DeepSeek. But as I told you, right, DeepSeek is basically an open source platform. So if you really want to use DeepSeek, you can also use it locally as well, and you can install a more cleaner version of it. To be very honest, right? Correct. So basically, couple of people say the right. Number one is people say it's better than ChatGPT, okay? Because they bought a model with less cost compared to ChatGPT. I think that's very good, Anup. I think Anup got it bang on. That's absolutely correct. Because they actually used fewer GPUs and they were able to build a model like ChatGPT at a far, far less cost. In fact, that company bought NVIDIA stock, got crashed by 30% with what they did. Let's understand what DeepSeek did pretty well that others couldn't do that well. So number one, when you start using any LLMs, all the LLMs are built on a mechanism called transformers. Transformer basically is an architecture, and that architecture, is used to start building what we call as foundation models. Once you build a foundation model, then you fine tune that model. You basically train the model for a specific downstream task. The task can be question answers, the task can be answering your questions, the task can be summarization, the task can be sentiment analysis. It can be used for multiple of these things. So what DeepSeek did, DeepSeek basically innovated this particular aspect of fine tuning, and they used a technique called mixture of experts, right? And they were able to achieve a good efficiency by training or activating far few parameters as compared to what a bigger model would actually use. And they were also able to bring the LLM up to a quality, like say for example, OpenAI's, R1 or ChatGPT's O1 mini, which is like the smartest model, better than ChatGPT 4 Omni when the model was released, right? So they were able to do that number one at a far, far lesser cost. So, and they also train their model on a traditional GPU as compared to the advanced GPUs that most of these LLMs today use in the market right now. But there's a debate on that right now. We can discuss about it a little later. But that's one thing that they did very, very well. Number two, they trained their entire flagship model for under a $6 million. That's far, far below than all the competitors in the market right now. Also, most importantly, the biggest thing that they did actually, they released the entire technical detail and they made their model open source as compared to closed source. So your Claude or ChatGPT, for example, are closed source models. But DeepSeek is completely open source, which means that you can actually see the codes, you can make it tweak it, you can tweak the architecture, and you can distill it for basically for your use case if you want to do that. And biggest thing, it's got a capability called advanced reasoning with their new model called DeepSeek R1 and DeepSeek Vision 3 V3, right? It actually excels at complex tasks. It can do mathematics, coding, everything at far, far lesser cost than anybody else. And that is what shook the industry. That's why DeepSeek got a big hype. Right? What is DeepSeek typically? DeepSeek was China's bold answer to not only OpenAI, but I think everybody in the world, right? And today we got DeepSeek V3. I mean, this particular DeepSeek as an app, it became the number one app on the US App Store just after it launched because it claimed that it beat ChatGPT and all, and actually did pretty well. So technically, if you're from India, I would say DeepSeek had a geo moment in the LLM industry where they gave the best model for absolutely free of cost. Everybody was using it, everybody was like talking about it, and that actually became like a big, big thing for DeepSeek, and suddenly it blew out of proportion for them, right? So let's understand that what does it do pretty well? Okay. Now let me show you some aspects of DeepSeek first. Then I'll tell you what does it do pretty well. Okay. So let's take first go to DeepSeek right now. Let's go to this, and you have to log in. You have to make an login ID password over here. And once you make a login ID password, you just have to like get in. And sometimes logins will not work. So DeepSeek is a little buggy. Sometimes it'll say my server is busy, right? So it may not work as efficiently as it should. But let's take if I simply ask a very complex issue. Suppose I say, can you help me with a detailed tech stack for building a software similar to um, this challenge the big giant, Salesforce. And I would like to build a more user-friendly, less complex CRM app which can be used by anybody, whether they are a large organization or a small one. Okay. Let's enable DeepSeek, which is the reasoning model of DeepSeek. Now, one thing when I start typing over here, what happens and what is go great about DeepSeek is that you can start seeing how does the model actually think. It's like a human. Okay, so I need to figure out the tech stack for building a CRM similar to Salesforce, but more user-friendly and less complex. Let me start by breaking down Salesforce. What Salesforce does. This is CRM, so it manages customer interaction, sales, marketing, customer support, but it is known for being quite complex. And so the goal here is to simplify that. First, I should consider core features needed. Then at the forefront, since user-friendliness is a priority and modern framework like React or Vue.js might be good. They have a strong communication and lots of component. React seems to be popular for now. You can see what it is thinking, and this is something which is great because now it's like the AI is more explainable. I can start seeing what the model is thinking, how it's approaching a problem. So it's actually acting like a simple agentic framework, and it is breaking down more complex tasks into smaller tasks, trying to find out things over here, and then building out an entire chain of thought process over here. Once it does the chain of thought process, it gives me an answer. So see, it's still thinking about it, and it's transparent. I can see it, I can feel it, I can figure things out, and then it helps me to understand the core features of the application. Number one. Number two, what is the tech stack? The front end uses basically, React with TypeScript. They have basically, UI library like Material UI, Chakra UI. They're also using Redux toolkit over here. They're basically using React Router. The backend, they've got Django. They have REST APIs, Django, GraphQL. The database is using using PostgreSQL. They also basically have a hosting on AWS. They have a Docker containerization. The orchestration by using Kubernetes, and they have a CI/CD pipeline. They're integrating with emails, SMS with Twilio, payment with Stripe. They have authorization requests as well. They also have WebSockets. They have BI tools in their, in the systems right now. They're using Chart.js for showing charts and all. So see, I get an entire detailed tech stack over here, which is pretty impressive to the model, right? And this is one of the biggest things that DeepSeek does. DeepSeek basically outperforms most of the models, and their thinking process is very transparent. It did a huge amount of thinking, contemplating, figuring things out at the back end, and post which he decided to then spell out the answers for it, right? And this is something which is commendable. Now, instead of this, let's simply go out there. Let's simply put this test with OpenAI. So now I'm going to go to OpenAI and I'm going to use one of the OpenAI's most happening model today. It's called O3. O3 was released post DeepSeek came in. Before that, they were working with O1, right? Now I'll put the same prompt on O1. Let's see what actually happens over here. This is the paid feature of ChatGPT. It's only available for people who are paid users. But DeepThink is giving this absolutely free of cost. Let's say I'm using microservices scalability. And it starts giving me a detailed breakdown. So it gives me a high-level architecture. It gives me the front end, and then React.js, Material UI, and Design Chakra UI, Angular over here, and Vue.js. And the key front-end consideration are state management, TypeScript, response design. The backend over here is Node.js, Python, Java, Kotlin, .NET Core. And the key backend considerations are they've got separate database considerations, they've got authentication and authorizations, they have PostgreSQL, MySQL, caching. They're using AWS cloud infrastructure, containerizing with Docker and Kubernetes. They're also using CI/CD pipelines over here, and they also have similar security features. Okay, so now I saw the answers of both the platforms, DeepSeek and O1. You guys tell me, which one did you find better? Who does your vote go to in this first test? If it goes to DeepSeek, give me a quick D on chat box. If it goes to OpenAI, give me your O on chat box. What do you think? Who does your vote go to? Okay, I see a lot of DeepSeek coming in. So yes, DeepSeek gives you a better reasoning, but really ask me, I think the answers of O1 is better than DeepSeek, right? Because O1's answer is actually more comprehensive than DeepSeek. Well, they have DeepSeek reasoned a lot, but the final output was not that great, unfortunately, right? And if I use the better model, the O3 mini right now, for example, okay, let's see basically what O3 does. It depends on knowledge also, absolutely correct. How much you know about it, to be very honest. But yeah, so I'll start taking more complex questions a little later, so don't worry about Robert. I'll do that. This is the new model called O3 Mini High. And this model came in after DeepSeek came in actually. Now it doesn't have reasoning, but you see the reasoning of DeepSeek is far, far better as compared to reasoning of any ChatGPT's model right now. Okay. And that is one of the biggest thing why people were going all gaga about DeepSeek, right? And I guess I was giving you similar answers over here, right? So one of the biggest thing about DeepSeek is their reasoning strength. Reasoning strength is absolutely excellent. They reason it very, very well. And the mathematical ability, now we will test DeepSeek on all of these parameters one by one, by the way, is very high for DeepSeek. Their also transparency is very good. I mean, they're extremely transparent. Unlike a OpenAI O1 and a Microsoft V4, it tells you everything step by step. But technically, with your OpenAI, you couldn't do that. And you see, their reasoning is too small currently, right? And most importantly, they're open source. You can deploy it locally using Olama, and you can also basically optimize for training as well. That's that's like one point of DeepSeek over here for that. Okay, the reasoning is just amazing. Now let's do a live demo. Let's now test DeepSeek on a couple of things. We're gonna first test DeepSeek on riddles. Okay, so anybody over here who has got a good riddle or tough riddle basically to ask, then I'm gonna basically, you know, try DeepSeek on that. Anybody riddle for me? You can put it over here, or I can just pick up a riddle that I have in my cutty, and I'm going to basically use that for myself. Okay. Let's see first, how does the human brain perform? Then I'm going to ask AI for it. Okay. I've got a simple riddle over here. I speak with my mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive in the wind. What am I? Any idea, guys? What is it? You can just customize or fine tune DeepSeek, and it's open source model. Definitely can do all these things right now with DeepSeek. Okay, let's see the answer what DeepSeek gives us first of all. The answer over here is echo, obviously. It's echo. That's correct. Let's see if DeepSeek is able to give the answer to us or not. By the way, still thinking. We are still thinking, and thinking. I don't know why. All right, but it's still thinking. So I was busy. Because the biggest problem with DeepSeek right now is that it always has this issue of server is busy. Let's try one more time. Okay. Now what happens if this doesn't really happen? I mean, it doesn't really give the answer. Let's always remove the deep think feature, and then you start giving, then you start giving answers to it. They start giving question. It actually works without deep think also. Okay. So that's absolutely correct answer, right? And I think even ChatGPT will do a pretty good job. Let's try to give it a tough mathematical problem. Okay, so let's see if we're able to solve a mathematical issue or not. Look at this, guys. So we got stranded on a deserted island. Harry Potter left with only 40 liters of container of milk. To conserve his milk, he decides that on first day he will drink 1 liter of milk and then refill the container backpack with water. On second day, he will drink 2 liters of refill, 2 liters, and again refill the container. On third day, he will drink 3 liters and so on. By the time all the milk is gone, how much water has he drank? Okay, so there's only 40 liters of milk, and you should conserve the milk. He decides first day how much he will drink, 1 liter, and then refill the back with water. The second day, 2 liters, and then third day, third liter, and so on and so forth. Okay, let's now see how to do that. The answer for this question actually, okay, as for the website where I got it from this website over here called the hardest maths puzzle. Okay, is that he must have drank 820 liters of liquid. Out of this 40 liters was milk we initially had, so he must have drank about 70 liters of water. That's the answer over here. Okay. How many liters is this? It's a very advanced mathematical question. Let's also try to give the same prompt in the meanwhile to ChatGPT. Let's see if ChatGPT can answer this question pretty well or not. And we're going to use the highest model of ChatGPT called O3 Mini. Okay, over here. So how to get this thing out of DeepSeek? That's what I'm asking me. It's very simple actually. You simply just copy the text before and copy the text afterwards. You could open a Word doc. Okay, open a simple Word doc of yours. And once you open a Word doc, you simply paste that. Now, once you paste that, basically it'll come with a table for you. And you remove this table from top, remove the text from here, and that's it. The table is over here. If you just copy paste the table and you just put it across in your Word doc, it will not work actually. It will actually work unfortunately for you. Because it'll always throw an error saying that it will just give you like a garbled table. But so it'll always take a text before, text take after, copy paste it on a Word doc. It should actually work out for you. Okay. Let's see. It's a very complex question, I guess. Okay, let's see where's OpenAI reached for this so far. So I'm not really sure if DeepSeek can do that. ChatGPT does it for sure, but DeepSeek doesn't really give you a Word document for download. Okay. Okay, by the time it does that, let's kind of go to the next problem because we're in a little bit of time. Let's not try to write a research paper using AI, right? Let's try to see if we can actually write a research paper using this platform. By the time it actually does this for me, let me just go to my next ID. Now see, DeepSeek has actually given up in the middle already, right? Because actually it's a very complex problem. So DeepSeek actually fails over here. But let's try to use DeepThink R1 and let's see if it's able to do the DeepThink capability currently. So actually, this one got it right. You see, ChatGPT got it right. It's 780 liters of water. Absolutely, absolutely correct. Right. And let's hope that DeepThink can also like do that for us. That's again one more ChatGPT. Let's point to DeepSeek over here. But here's a native model of DeepSeek. Let's see if the reasoning actually works or not. Okay, let's now see if we can somehow now what happens if DeepSeek is down. Then what is the next option that you have? Because you all face this issue. I'll tell you one small hack for this. Simply come on this small little dot over here. Go to cookies site data. Go to manage site data over here and remove these two options of DeepSeek. Delete them and refresh this DeepSeek one more time for you. It'll ask you for a login. Log in one more time with your ID that you have right now. Okay. And hopefully this time it should actually work. So this is a hack that always perform, man. I kind of give up on DeepSeek at times because sometimes what happens is that DeepSeek might not perform as well. It'll keep on showing service busy, because there's a lot of load and it's not as stable as OpenAI right now. And you just keep on going in the endless loop of it over here. But there's one more hack that I can use DeepSeek for. I can simply go to this website called Together AI. Together AI is a platform wherein they have hosted DeepSeek as a model and they're giving DeepSeek to try for absolutely free. So when you log into Together AI, they give you some amount of credits over here for absolutely free of cost. And just in case if you, yeah, so just in case if it doesn't really work, you can simply go here. Okay, so I think DeepSeek started right now. Let's see, free seeking at this point in time. You see, I mean, the reasoning is so fantastic. You're able to actually see and understand what's happening at the back end right now with this model. Okay, I think it's just going to loop. I think let's just move on to the next one. And by then we see the answers really coming out for us or not, right? So now let's actually see if I can start creating any AI generated content or AI generated reports. Can I basically write a good report with an LLM right now, right? And let's ask AI today to write a report for us on recent advancements of LLMs. And this time I'll be using a search feature in both these platforms, wherein I'm going to basically ask AI that, hey, you know what, let's search and let's see if you're able to give me a comprehensive report on this or not. I think ChatGPT is much faster in the reasoning part than DeepSeek currently. It's still going in the endless loop right now. But we just kind of let be over here. So let's come back to our DeepSeek. I'll just log into DeepSeek from a new ID so that I don't lose that essence over there. Okay. Now I'm going to ask DeepSeek that can you help me write a comprehensive report on how LLMs are being used in the project management space? Okay, very simple prompt. Nothing more fancy than this. Just like a zero shot. Now, good thing about these models when you are seeing zero shot prompts are that because they have a deep thinking ability, they convert your zero shot prompts into actually more complex prompts automatically. They reason it and they're able to write a report for you far better way. That's one thing that DeepSeek does pretty well. That it's able to think about your context. It basically applies, its stuff and sees it kind of went through 42 websites in a jiffy, and now it's going to read through the entire web pages and then actually help me to break down and put a report together of this. right? And let's probably try to put the same prompt on writing a report for us using ChatGPT's OpenAI. And my bad, I did not enable search feature. So I'll basically make both of them comparable. I'll use the search feature right now. Let's see actually what happens over here. Okay, so you see over here, it gave me an introduction, give me an overview on the LLM and project management space. So these are communication, documentation, task automation, data-driven decision making, which is great. Again, project managers are using LLMs for automated document generation, agile project planning, routine task development. So give me a good report over here. Also give me a source from most of the research reports right now. And it's a pretty small and concise report. Let's see how does DeepSeek do over here in this scenario. So DeepSeek actually is giving introduction, talking about key application right now. It's more detailed, actually more structured also. So people can use it for task and automation planning, enhanced communication over here, risk prediction, agile process automation, resource management and optimization. It does a very good job on tools and platforms right now. It has some challenges as well, like data quality, hallucinations, integration complexities. And we can see AI agents coming in future. We can have multimodal LLMs in future, a self-correcting model as well, and conclusion. Okay. So again, we can see both the LLMs did a decent job in report. What do you think? Whose report do you think is more structured and more organized? So if we read, obviously we'll get a better perspective. But from the top of it, what do you think? Who won over here? Did OpenAI win in the report writing task for you, or did DeepSeek win this particular task for you? What do you guys think? Who, according to you, had a better structure to the report as compared to what you just read right now? ChatGPT. I know, I think ChatGPT, right? I think because there's more detailed according to me, and also like, but then I find in the starting part, I think DeepSeek did pretty well, but later on, DeepSeek kind of gave more shorter answers for that from a perspective of that right now. Okay, no worries. Let's kind of go next. Let's try to do some other tasks which DeepSeek does better than ChatGPT. So now, a couple of things DeepSeek does pretty well for us is that they do good data analysis. Now, the data analysis, what do I really mean by it? I'm going to give a simple, report in a textual format, and I'm going to ask AI to create visualizations for me. Now, I'm sure you must have not tried this too much, and this is something which even I discovered recently that DeepSeek does a fantastic job with this at this point in time. So I'm going to give a scenario. I got like a dummy scenario with me over here, and I'm going to give the scenario to my AI, to both the AIs actually. And I'm going to ask them to actually prepare for me a presentation. I mean, like a dashboard using AI. Okay, what do you think? Do you think AI can build dashboards for you, first of all? Give me a yes or no. What's your opinion? Can AI build dashboards for me directly? Like a dashboard, like in the lines of your Power BI and all. Do you think it can do that for you? Actually, not really. They can build dashboards, but we can create HTML dashboards, okay, which is quite simpler, but it's a small hack that you can actually do that. So let's say I've got this simple report with me over here. I've got executive summary of a company. I've got the profit shares and all. I've got some financial reports. I've got a sales report over here. I've also got a product category sales, and I've also got a production report as well. So I've got multiple reports over here with me. All I want to do is I want to build a simple looking dashboard using AI. I'm going to copy this entire report. Just to Control A, Control C, copy this report. Come to my DeepSeek. And I'm going to simply say, I want to, I want you to build me a comprehensive dashboard which I can present to my management in HTML, looking at the report below. Okay. And you simply paste it. And I'll also simply say, make relevant charts, graphs, and data points for me, and visualize them professionally with insights below each chart. Okay, and you just take this entire prompt of mine. And this is something I'm sure that most of you must have not tried it using HTML and all, but they actually do a very good job at this task. Where DeepSeek can actually render the entire HTML. Once it does that, I can also play the HTML file within DeepSeek itself. This feature only Claude had earlier. Then DeepSeek got it, and now even ChatGPT has the same feature. Earlier, ChatGPT did not have the same feature for themselves. Then at the same time, put the same prompt on ChatGPT itself. Let's see what happens over here. I hope DeepSeek sometimes doesn't give up on me. So give up on me right now. No problem. We'll copy this entire prompt. Let's give it to my other ID. So DeepSeek has this perennial issue where it actually breaks, unfortunately. So it's going to solve the riddle for us. So we see that DeepSeek sometimes is not that great in mathematics, unfortunately. Okay, but no worries. We'll figure out. Okay, let's go to OpenAI. The meanwhile, let me use this without DeepThink. Sometimes it just loops in DeepThink automatically somehow. Okay, now it creates an HTML dashboard for me. Even Claude does it, even ChatGPT does it for me. Don't worry about all the code it writes. It's very simple code actually. And let's see how the outcome comes to be. We got the entire dashboard over here. Okay, somehow did not give this to me in the format I was expecting, but no worries. We can use a HTML editor, and we will actually see how this thing comes out to be over here. I'm going to liveweave.com. I'm going to paste this HTML code over there, and then I can actually render the file, and I can see how does it really look like. Meanwhile, DeepSeek is doing it. Let's finish. Fine. Okay, here we go. So basically put the code and look at this, guys. This is the entire dashboard. It is manufacturing, executive summary, financial overview, sales report, sales by region, and give me like a proper report over here. Give me sales and growth year on year, production report over here, and also gives me a summary production output. Now, when I simply hover a mouse, I can just see the dashboard as well. Key achievements and challenges. How many guys found this to be super cool? Give me a cool on chat box. Yeah, give me a cool. I found this to be super cool actually. Like, it's able to build an entire dashboard like a proper page for you automatically right now through AI, right? Now let's see what DeepSeek does for you. Okay, let's go back to our DeepSeek. Let's run the HTML file over here and let's see how does it really work. Okay, here we go. This is DeepSeek, guys. Here's my financial overview. Give me insight, sales overview. I think it's a better visualization than ChatGPT. Gives me insight. Production category. See, gives me like a proper overview. Again, insights over here. The production report. Gives me insight over here. Production efficiency. Insight. Key achievements. So who wins according to you over here? DeepSeek won or did ChatGPT won? What do you guys think? DeepSeek, right? I think yeah, absolutely correct. DeepSeek won over here. So DeepSeek got 2 points so far. ChatGPT got 1 point so far, right? And how many guys over here did not know this feature existed before? I mean, it's a small hack I found. It's no feature as such, but how many guys, you know, saw this for the very first time anywhere, right? And this is something which is awesome. I've not seen anything better than this. I think sometimes somebody who is challenged, with Power BI, I think this is a fantastic feature to actually have within the tools, right? So I think data analysis, DeepSeek gets 1 point, ChatGPT gets 0. All right. Now let's try to see if they are able to give me what we call as automated decision making and actually help you with some workflow management. So I've kept a simple scenario over here. I've given like a case study, like a Harvard case study in this scenario. I've given a company background to it. I've given a problem statement, and I'm basically asking, okay, you know what the company needs to do, right? So they need to basically do a couple of things over here. Okay, so they're gonna just give the problem statement over here, and then we're gonna see if AI can help us solve the issue or not. So just to give you a little perspective over the problem statement, this is a company that actually has, I mean, it's got a rapidly growing. They're the provider of cloud-based marketing automation tool designed for MSMEs, small medium enterprises right now. As the company is scaling, it's facing challenges and it's facing operational challenges due to increasing volume of customers right now. So this is the problem that they have. So Acme's SaaS solutions has bottling in two critical areas. Number one is customer onboarding. So new customer signups are processed through a large manual workflow from verifying accounts. And this is a very manual process. They only need to delay for them, unfortunately. It also like is responsible for churning the customers as well. Then they also have a support ticket management system where which is basically we've got expanding customer base and the volumes are skyrocketing for the company right now. But they currently have a manual system of support tickets right now. They do delayed in resolutions for now. So what is the need? They need a automated decision-making software which can actually automate customer onboarding for them and streamline support ticket system for them. This is a solution though, but let's not give a solution. Let's probably give the problem statement to them right now. Let's see if they are able to solve. Let's see who's able to solve this issue a little better. So first, let's go and use ChatGPT. Let's simply say, can you help me with a decision making with decision making for below mentioned problem statement? Okay, by the time AI gives the answer to us, I would want you also to think, what would you do? So the company is facing bottlenecks in two areas. Number one, in customer onboarding, they're facing huge issues over here. Number two, and actually with expanding customer base, they basically getting a lot of support tickets, a lot of complaints, maybe, right? And they again are facing huge issues over there. So what should they be doing in the scenario? Put your answers in the chat box before the AI answers. Let's see if you are faster or DeepSeek is faster or OpenAI is faster than you. Okay. What will you do? So yeah, Robert. So basically, DeepSeek was able to give me. It has a preview of HTML within the same tool. ChatGPT allow me to do preview HTML over here. So I went to an editor to just preview the HTML code. Okay, that's what I did right now. Okay, so now what is DeepSeek telling me? So basically, they define the goal is to streamline process of and reduce delays from the customer and for support ticket management. So they will analyze the customer. They should analyze the current issues. So for example, there's a lot of manual workflow, a lot of issues happening with the current company right now. Solution is you can implement onboarding automation platform. You can use HubSpot, Salesforce, Zapier. They can have self-service onboarding portal as well. They can also have a dedicated onboarding team who can do these things for them. They also have AI-powered chatbots for them as well. For support ticket management, they can implement ticketing system. They can use Zendesk, Freshdesk, ServiceNow. They basically also have an AI-powered ticketing ticket routing system as well. They have self-service knowledge base too. And they can also escalate the protocols too as well. They should also have an evaluation solution for the customer onboarding. They should look at automation platforms with high impact, moderate cost, quick implementation, right? They should also prioritize the recommended solution for them. For short term, implement onboarding solution, have AI powered chatbots. In medium term, maybe have self-service onboarding. And for long term, you should have a dedicated onboarding team. This is the implementation plan. It also give an implementation plan as well. Give measure of success too. Give risk and mitigations too. Not bad actually. I think pretty good job. Pretty solid. Let us see what ChatGPT gave us. So give me the issues. The current issue is objective to automate whatever. Now, they first established the evaluation criteria though, the scalability, integration, cost and ROI, implementation complexity, and user experience. So option number A, go full automation onboarded platform. So what are the pros of these, cons of this? Now, option number two, have past automation with workflow optimization. Right. So introduce an automation for repetitive tasks while retaining human oversight for verification and professional touch points. Option number C, do process re-engineering but without new technology, reassess it, streamline things, and go for manual process right now. And number four, explore options for support ticketing system. So maybe have AI-based ticketing system. You can enhance support platforms with built-in automation as well. and also have a hybrid model with automation and human oversight. This is the decision-making matrix that they actually gave us right now, and recommended steps and next flow. What do you think? Whose answer was better over here? ChatGPT or DeepSeek, according to you? What do you guys think? Whom will you vote right now in this scenario for scenario planning? D or O? Okay. Well, the matrix was pretty cool, but I think DeepSeek was far better according to me because they also thought something beyond the ordinary. Okay, which means that apart from just giving solutions, it also gave me a sprint, also gave me like a roadmap, also essentially gave me an implementation plan, also gave me a measure of success, which is actually pretty cool. So I think reasoning wise, they did a very good job, and yeah, I mean they did a pretty decent job. Okay, now let's kind of look at some more examples, and some of my last examples of my block right now. Let's not try it for some basic tasks. Let's take, for example, I want to do some AI in marketing, right? How do I basically create some ad copies over here and some sales strategies with it? Let's look at those aspects with DeepSeek and ChatGPT both. So I'm going to simply say, I am a company who is into selling organic vegetables. What do you think? I want to create an ad copy without being too salesy. It should have a potential to go viral. Can you help me with it? Okay, let's see. This is something that DeepSeek, I think DeepSeek does a very good job in ad copies. They do a pretty decent job over there. So simply say, imagine biting into a tomato and actually tastes like tomato, or crunching on a carrot that has been grown the way nature intended. No chemicals, no shortcuts, just pure goodness. At XYZ company, we believe your food should just fill you up, should fuel you. That's why we are on a mission to bring you 100% organic vegetables. And why choose us? We're pesticide free, sustainability grown, farm fresh. So I think decent copy, not bad. It also gives me a reason by every single time that why does it really work, which is quite cool. I've not seen ChatGPT doing this, but D3 does this very, very well. I think they do a pretty good job in helping you to understand that why have they given a particular answer. And we normally call this explainable AI. They're able to explain things for me, explain things to you pretty well, right? Now let's try to see if we can use DeepSeek to build a small little code for us and build a small little app for us. Okay, at this point in time, which will be pretty cool. And if it does that, that will be quite awesome. Okay, so let me just say, I want to build a real-time weather application. Um, so it should also have great visuals and make it interactive. Can you help me build this app using HTML, CSS, and JS all in one code? And then let's see if DeepSeek does a very good job with this or not. So they're very good at coding-based tasks too. I think they've been trained on a more recent database of these codes. So they do a pretty decent job. Now, and problem is that now ChatGPT, DeepSeek gave me these things in three different codes, so I can run it over here within the system. While I can run the HTML or HTML though, but this HTML unfortunately will not have styling, or it will not basically have a functionality because they've given three codes separately, right? Let me also tell them that can you give me all in the HTML code itself? Don't give me three different codes. So you can actually use, you see, you can just look at an app within DeepSeek itself. Okay. Let's also simply put the same prompt onto our ChatGPT, but this time I'm going to use ChatGPT 4 because at least I can preview the app within the same engine. Okay. So it also did not give me the feature. Okay, now it gives me. That's good. Let's see what happens in DeepSeek. So got it. Let's run the file. And here we go. That's pretty good. Let's try to see if we can get with it. We can do that because we don't have an API though. But actually it looks decent. It's not bad. And I think the app design and look and feel for AI to code it, I think it's pretty decent. And I will say, can you show me an example of how an internal screen of this app with the data will look like with visuals? And they're also very good at debugging as well. So I find this to be very decent with this app right now. The default model of DeepSeek is V3 only. The thing is, like you cannot use any other model apart from that. Let's do a preview over here. Okay, allow. And see, this is basically, I mean, this is the app. Technically, it's not that great, unfortunately. Though it did the coding, but I think it misses the styling part of it right now. So again, over here, who do you think won? Yeah, from a design perspective, from a UI UX UI perspective, right? I think DeepSeek won in this scenario, right? So DeepSeek is good at some tasks. They're very good at coding. They're very good at reasoning. They're very good at, at least giving copies, content, okay, and also with dashboards, right? These are some examples that I want to showcase to you and help you understand and compare these two applications so that you will be able to, understand that what's the key difference in these two apps. Did you love it today? Did you learn something new, everybody? Learn something interesting in the session? Yeah. If you do, give me a quick yes on chat box. So now I can open some question answers. I can take some questions that you have for me. And then, I can hand over to the grad team. Any questions, any doubts, any queries, feel free to ask me. Let's look at the internal screen for the meanwhile on this app. And then we look for question answers. Okay, so this is pretty cool, huh? Not bad, actually. Okay, so how do we subscribe for the desktop version side? Seems confusing. Okay, so typically, from what I understand, basically is they have an app, but I wasn't not use desktop to be very honest. I use something called as a LM Studio though, which is basically I can use any LLM on my PC if I want. That too without internet currently. So I use the LM Studio. Within LM Studio, I have installed a DeepSeek's distilled version of 4 billion model. So they have a model which is 7 million parameter model, and I can actually use this model locally on my PC. And this is completely local though, without me having to do any of these things. It's completely local. So as I say, let's take what is a rag. So then I can actually see DeepSeek reasoning, but this PC version is extremely slow because I'm using a CPU, not a GPU though, right? And it's extremely slow. But having said that, it's typically better than nothing, to be very honest. So, I think sometimes I don't have internet. This is a savior because it actually helps me to get the answers locally. Even the system is pretty slow. Okay. So can I perform fine tuning? Definitely you can perform fine tuning. You have to do some coding for that. So you can basically use a Python notebook and you can actually like write the same code as you normally write for any other application right now. Definitely can perform, you know, fine tuning on the applications right now. You can do that definitely. Okay, any other questions, guys? Just in case if you want to do fine tuning, this is the code for fine tuning, guys. This is the Google Colab notebook. And I've tried to fine tune DeepSeek once long ago. I found it on the internet though. So you can actually like fine tune DeepSeek using a QLoRa. It was a 24 GB CPU. So you can definitely fine tune DeepSeek. Okay. All right. The thing is you can't generate artworks on DeepSeek. DeepSeek is only a model currently for text to text. You can basically upload an image and you can parse content. It doesn't have the capability like ChatGPT where you can upload image and you can ask it to do questions on that. You can't do that unfortunately. Okay. So how do we subscribe for desktop site? Okay. So done. I already have a ChatGPT subscription, but just on desktop. Don't want another app. Is there a DT app for DeepSeek? No, I'm not sure about the desktop app because I haven't used that to be very honest, but you can just simply Google search and figure it out. Let me just see if this DeepSeek has a desktop app or not. I use the web version mostly. Um, they have a mobile app for sure that I'm aware of, but I'm not really sure that if they have a desktop application. I can see some scanned copies, but I think that's more for a mobile phone if I'm not wrong. Than actually your desktop, actually Windows or Mac. Okay. There's some countries banned on DeepSeek. Yes, I mean, that's because of China, I guess, and also because security issues that DeepSeek actually has right now. There should be clear showing us the free version of DeepSeek, whereas your ChatGPT are paid version. Absolutely correct, Christian, because the biggest thing about DeepSeek is that DeepSeek's deep think reasoning is equivalent to a ChatGPT's paid version. The free version of ChatGPT is not as smart as what DeepSeek is. So DeepSeek is giving you all the features that a ChatGPT will have in the paid version for free. That was the biggest USP that DeepSeek actually was talk of the town, right, Christian? Okay. So are we using the paid version of both tools? No. I am only using the paid version of ChatGPT, but I'm using a free version of DeepSeek right now. Yes, text to text. It doesn't do anything else right now. It's only text to text. DeepSeek cannot do Excel work. DeepSeek can't do anything, by the way. ChatGPT can do that. That's the advantage of ChatGPT. ChatGPT can read images better than DeepSeek, but DeepSeek's reasoning is better. The dashboarding is better. The coding is better. So they're good at particular task, which ChatGPT isn't, right? And the biggest thing is they have a good reasoning, which again ChatGPT does not have that. So technically, you have to use mixtures, right? So depending on your task, you can do that. DeepSeek cannot generate images right now. It doesn't have image generation capability at this point in time. Okay. So DeepSeek doesn't have a paid version, Robert. DeepSeek only has everything free, it's open source. So they don't have a paid feature like a ChatGPT right now. Okay. So they're good at mathematical issues, yeah, they are, but very complex issues not that great. Basic maths, definitely they're very good. Very good. How do you make sure you can write one prompt? So see, technically you need to use more contextual prompts, right? But the reason we basically are currently using um these applications are because even if you give loose prompts, they can think by themselves. They apply a chain of thoughts and they're able to give an answer to me. That's again one of the biggest things about them right now. That's the biggest, I would say, USP that they actually have. That's why normally when you test out, we test out zero shot prompts because if they work very well on zero shot prompts, they'll do very good job at a complex prompt as well. Can DeepSeek make PPT? No, the DeepSeek can't make PPT. DeepSeek can only make text, so is ChatGPT, even it can't make PPT for you. The paid version can do make a PPT, but then it's very basic in nature, not that great. Okay. All right. So I hope you guys had fun. With this note, I hand over to the Grad team. So, Christabel or anybody from Grad team, over to you guys.